Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday evening. Welcome into The Real. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share on the way in here. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, let's get a like rally going. And appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. We already got some people in the chat. Yo, what up, Param John? Good to see you, brother. As always, we are here. What's up? What's up, Param John? Hope you're doing good, brother. And appreciate you as always. One of my day one supporters. Param John's a great guy. Great person. So and big time Browns fan, a Cleveland sports fan. We always see him in the chat. So good to see you, my friend. Yeah, welcome in. Hope you guys having a good Thursday night. A lot of things going on in the Browns world, that's for sure. A lot of news coming out. We're gonna get to it here in a second. So before I get to that though, we're gonna get right to it tonight. We don't want to keep you guys too long. Joining me now is the man, the myth, the legend. You know, I had to have this guy up here when there's Browns news like this. Got to get the professional fan up here. Sir Michael Antonice. Mike, what's happening?
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Perrin John says, Todd has me juiced up, Joseph. That's a good, you know what? I could totally see it, Perrin John. I like Todd Monken, Mike. Hey, Mike, at least we finally have like longer answers from a coach, I feel like.
Yeah, actual answers, like he's giving you information.
Yeah, like he actually like is laid back and talks and is himself. I feel like the old coach was like purposely trying not to tell us things all the time, which I mean that's his MO. But Todd Monken's definitely complete 180, Mike. That's for sure. Compared to what we had previously.
Right.
No doubt about it. But obviously we're gonna get to the main topic of the show, the reports that came out, about Malik Willis and the Browns. We're going to get to that here in a minute. But, Mike, let's start with Todd Monken. He spoke yesterday at the media. And, Todd Monken was asked, Mike, about the current quarterback room in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel. And so, amidst all this smoke, obviously they asked him about the current quarterback room. And here's what Coach Monken had to say, Mike, about Shedeur Sanders to start with. He was also asked about Deshaun Watson yesterday. I believe I have that cut up, but obviously, like we both agree, Shedeur is probably more likely to get on the field first than Deshaun. At least that's how it appears. Maybe we're wrong. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be an open competition with what they're saying, according to them. But here's what Coach Monken had to say.
He still has a long way to go in his development. Do you think he can make up that ground and possibly be ready to start out?
Sure he can. I think what you see is elite playmaking ability. That's in him. You've seen it. We've seen it. You saw it in college. You saw it on tape last year. Sure, there's a ways to go, but what rookie isn't? I mean, what first-year player doesn't have a long way to go? So I'm excited to get started with him and all of our quarterbacks and all of our players.
Do you feel like you have?
So Mike, your reaction to Coach Monken there, some pretty interesting praise. He says he has elite playmaking ability. Obviously, like we all said, he's a rookie. He still has a lot of work to do, like any other rookie.
Right.
He spoke on the other show about, shout out to our boy Hummels in the chat. Good to see you, Hummel. Alexis, grab a chair. The man is in the building. But he talked about, he needs to improve in his drops and everything, and just overall stuff like that in the pocket. But elite playmaking ability, Mike. Some pretty good praise there from Coach Monken on Shedeur. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty high praise from a guy that is kind of no nonsense. I think bodes well for Shador. To actually have a real shot to become the starter. Elite playmaking ability. I mean, we saw flashes of that, and I think he kind of said what some of us have already said in that, like, he is a rookie. Rookies make mistakes. Like, obviously, he has stuff to improve on, but he only had 7 starts. Didn't know he was going to be the starter. Maybe didn't have a fair shake at training camp, what have you. Originally in his rookie season, so the fact that he's leaving that door open and he's not like dancing around the question. It's kind of refreshing. Just being like, yeah, sure, he could be the starter. It all just depends. It's refreshing.
Yeah, I think he's definitely leaving all his options open. I mean, he just got here, and he's not tied to any of these quarterbacks, obviously. So,
Right.
But he just got done watching film on the quarterbacks first, and definitely his opinions changed, I think, on Shador a little bit. Like, he even said, like, he was surprised even by watching back the tape, his mobility, and he liked a lot of what he saw. He said on some other interviews as well. But I think he's doing the right thing in terms of you want to gaslight your rookie quarterback a little bit. You keep everybody engaged, keep everybody feeling like they can, compete for the job. And I think it's a good job by Monken, but he's not committing, and nor should he commit to anything because you never know what's going to happen here. So he goes on though, Mike, about the quarterback room. Obviously, he got grilled on that that topic a lot yesterday because it's the main topic here. So here's what he continued with.
Have QB1 set going into training camp, or is that something you open, Shador, Deshaun, whatever QB?
You would hope that that's the case. You would hope that by the time you get to training camp that the reps that you're giving to a quarterback is for your starter. Whether we get to that place, I don't know. That'll be determined in the offseason as part of it. It's just another part of the piece.
So it's just a part of the piece, he says there, Mike. So then he also goes on and asks about open competition. Here's what he had to say about that.
Competition, you at that position. Is there an open competition?
Sure. I think it's an open competition. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be an open competition. And I don't mean that saying it harshly, but I don't think there's enough on film over the last couple of years, one way or the other, to say, boy, we have a starter quarterback yet, whether internally or externally.
And so I'm going to get to that last part there he said there, Mike, in a minute. But he says it's an open competition. And you heard what he said prior to that. Kind of the same thing. Your thoughts on what Coach Monken had to say there, Mike?
Yeah, he's telling us something that we kind of already, I think, figured. Yeah. None of us went in thinking Shador had shown a good amount, but still question marks. He was going to leave his options open, like you just said. He's not tied down to any of the quarterbacks in any way, shape, or form, but obviously they're on the roster, and it would be best if Shador is the starter. People tend to be like, oh, you guys want to push Shador out, and it's like, no, all of us want Shador to end up the starter. That's the best case scenario. He's on a rookie deal, a 5th-round rookie deal, and make it really easy for us to build around him. We want that to happen, but it's just that, does he have the ability? But he's not telling us something we don't already know.
Yeah, he's giving the politically correct answer. Let's just call it what it is, which is fine. That's what he should do.
Yeah.
He just got here. Now, Andrew Berry, Mike, was also asked, the general manager, about this situation yesterday. He was asked about Shador and Deshaun first. Here's what AB had to say, or the other day, excuse me.
You said you had
You know what? Right now, it's February 24th. Thank you. I appreciate it, Scott. So, we don't have to make that decision anytime soon. I think any player that we have in that room, we would expect to compete to earn a role. Those two would be no different.
You said you had ample room for free agency. How aggressive do you expect to be, especially?
I wouldn't need to listen to that part. But so he says there, Mike, it's February, the date, 24th the other day, and we don't have to make that decision anytime soon. He goes on. He's later asked Mike about Shador Sanders, and here's what Andrew Berry had to say about that. Let me cue that up right. Her
would look, coming out of it. Yeah, I'd say this, Mary Kay. So I think number one, probably a better question for Todd, tomorrow when he hits the podium. I think the biggest thing that we want to see from Shedeur is just continued growth. I think he grew a lot from start 1 to start 7. I think certainly, playing more efficiently, not putting the ball in harm's way as much, would be important. While maintaining the ability to produce out of structure and generate explosive plays. You're not going to see all of that in the upcoming months because we're not on the field. So the biggest thing that he can do is learn the new offense, get in with the coaching staff once our offseason program starts, continue to work on his body physically, and then make strides when we actually get on the grass.
Your reaction when Andrew Berry had to say there, Mike?
Side note, Andrew must be working out. Bro looks jacked. But yeah, so to that point, like, him just saying some politically correct stuff, but also stuff, again, we already knew. He can create plays out of structure. There are a lot of pluses to Shedeur. But again, saying listen, we're not.
Out some things though too. He wanted him to fix as well.
Oh yeah, the dropbacks.
He got into some. I thought it was interesting. He got into some specifics. And
yeah, I think it is
on another one too.
Yeah, I think it is too, because I really think they will give him the opportunity to do that. Because at the end of the day, if they think Shedeur can be a starter, let alone a long-term starter, they would much prefer doing that than paying a free agent quarterback or drafting another one. They'd much rather that. That's just a fact, Yeah. People watching, you got to understand that. Shedeur fans, you got to understand that. The Browns are not against Shedeur Sanders. They want him to work out for multiple reasons. One, they haven't had a franchise quarterback. They kind of sort of maybe had one in Baker Mayfield, but even people in Tampa are saying they might move off of him. They're just not sure. But we haven't had a franchise quarterback. He's on a 5th-round rookie deal. And honestly, this regime loves to be smart with its resources. And for the most part, Andrew has some draft misses. Every GM does, but I think he's allocated resources decently well. And no GM or front office or head coach wants to keep freaking throwing shit against the wall, seeing if it sticks when it comes to quarterback. Nobody wants to keep allocating resources to that. And the Browns have already allocated so much.
Yeah. Well,
draft picks, 3 first-round picks. My God.
Yeah. Here's what I think. Right.
Sorry,
no, you're good. Good rumble. I think the reason why these guys are giving these answers, Mike, I think you listen to what they're saying here. So you hit the nail on the head. They want Shedeur to compete, right? He's going to be on the team next year. Deshaun Watson's going to be on the team next year. They even, they asked about Deshaun Watson too, and they've left the door open for both of them. With Deshaun, he's rehabbing, and we hope to get him back healthy. Let's see what he can do on the grass. And you heard what Todd Monken said, later on in his press conference. He said you had a guy at one point was an elite player. Why wouldn't you want to see what he has? So they left the door open for Deshaun. They left the door open for Shedeur Sanders. By all accounts, it sounds like a Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Moore type of battle. Now, he did talk about Dylan Gabriel yesterday, and his thing with Dylan Gabriel was like, well, he went to 3 major schools and played at an elite level. That says something. We're going to see what he says. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel is going to be here. I thought Andrew Berry's answer on Dylan Gabriel yesterday, Mike, Andrew Berry said he had a lot of upside. I think he's definitely propping up his trade value, if I'm being honest. That's just me. But
if we get a 6th-round pick for him, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think Dylan's going to get traded. I think Andrew Berry's answer the other day, excuse me, I keep saying yes. Yesterday was Todd Monken. The other day, I think Andrew Berry's answer was definitely propping up that trade value, no doubt about it. But I think with Shedeur and Deshaun, I think they're leaving the door open, Mike, but they're not very committal. And when you listen to them talk, it's kind of like Yeah, we like what they have, but it's always a but. Like they gotta improve here. They gotta do this. They gotta do that. We like them, but they don't seem to be fully sold on them. And I keep saying this on my show in the recent shows. I said I just get a feeling they're leaving the door open for something else. That I think Todd Monken and Andrew Berry and mainly Todd, because he just got here. He has a style of quarterback he likes. I think they're looking to add somebody different here. Maybe they can get somebody they feel is a little more ready now that maybe fits Todd more or more developed along the way. And so today, Zac Jackson came out, Mike. Never the other day, I did a show and Mary Kay Cabot put out an article saying that the Browns are eyeing Malik Willis and Ty Simpson. Obviously, Malik Willis is a backup quarterback for the Packers, was drafted in 2022 with the Titans. Got a shitty situation there. Went to Green Bay and has developed. And when he got on the field, liking some of the starts he had, he looked pretty good. And he's only 26 years old, so he's actually 2 years older than Ty Simpson, but he's more developed in the NFL. So the thing with Malik Willis, though, he's probably going to be demanding about $30 to $40 million. The Dolphins are in on him. There's rumors at the combine that the Falcons may give up Michael Penix to go pursue Malik Willis. That'd be kind of Stefanski and Barry got in the bidding war. But, I think Malik Willis is definitely number one quarterback from if you're looking for a quarterback on the market this offseason, Mike, he's probably number one for a lot of people because of development, and he's pretty talented, big arm when he came out, very mobile, athletic, and I think a lot of people feel like you could put him in there, and if he hits, he could be your franchise guy. So, she came out the other day and said that she believes that that she's hearing that they're eyeing both of those guys. Now there is some other prominent reporters, Mike, that believe the Browns are just going to roll out with Watson and Shador next year. That they don't believe any of this stuff. Like I know Tony Grossi has said that he believes they'll do that. I know Jason Lloyd said today he still believes that they're going to roll with these two, but or maybe they'll just bring like a rookie in a late round or somebody else for an arm or whatever. But some other reporters, though, Mike, I've never seen this. This is fascinating. I've never seen Mike a split 50-50 in the reporters where some people are saying one thing and the other side is saying another thing. So it makes you wonder what's going on. But Zac Jackson, who's usually pretty right. Zac Jackson's usually on the money. And Mary Kay Cabot gets a lot of information as well. That's pretty obviously she gets information from inside. So Zac Jackson today, Mike, went on the Alta Cleveland Sports Show. Shout out to them. And kind of dropped a bomb, Mike. Here's what Zac Jackson had to say.
This year, I think the plan is to go get Malik Willis, right? And if that doesn't work, then the plan is to trade for Anthony Richardson or go about somehow getting another guy in here to compete. When he talked open competition, wanting to judge these guys and get them on the field and, basically use OTAs and maybe just the start of camp, he means that. But I can guarantee you the competition is not just Shador versus Deshaun. It's either Malik Willis and it's not a competition, or it's Shador versus Deshaun versus someone else. And they're out here this week deciding, do they want to be in the Ty Simpson business, the Garrett Nussmeier business? They're talking through trade costs on these guys and who might become available. There's whispers that Derek Carr is coming back to the NFL, right? Nobody knows where Malik Willis is going to go, but the Browns are going to be in on that. And if they don't get it, then it's on to plan B, and that's what they're shuffling through right now. It's just there's no way it's going to be Shador versus Deshaun. So that's what people are talking about now because that's what was talked about here, and that's who's on the roster right now. Yeah. But the roster is going to get additions, if not significant upgrades, sometime in the next 2 weeks, and then maybe again in 2 months.
So, big time bomb there, Mike, from Zac Jackson. And I don't think Zac would have came out and said that blunt. He talks to a lot of people. I've met Zac Jackson before. Zac's pretty plugged in. He's at the combine. When a lot of these rumors, these are behind the scenes. They're talking to executives who are talking to Andrew Berry, talking to Todd Monken, and they're hearing what they're actually saying out of their mouths. So that's where a lot of this information comes from. And we've heard this now this week, and he really nailed down, Mike, the same thing Mary Kay put out the other day, that Malik Willis sounds like is the first option, and that plan B, you heard Ty Simpson's name, you heard Garrett Nussmeier via draft, but you also heard Anthony Richardson. We'll get to him in a second. But going to Malik Willis, though, Mike, it sounds like Malik Willis, like I have here in the thumbnail, according to him, that's plan A, is go out and get Malik Willis. And he said there is no way that Shador Sanders and Deshaun are the competition going into the camp. So your reaction to this bomb bike today from Zac Jackson?
My reaction is I really hope Anthony Richardson is never anywhere near my team. But in all seriousness, yeah, I mean, here, if the plan's to go get Malik Willis, man, I hope they just go through with it and don't ask too many questions and just do it. Because here, I like Malik Willis. I think he could be very, very good, but it's just a matter of, like doing the proper vetting is the big thing for me. Like, I just hope that they properly vet whatever they decide to do, because the fact of the matter is, I like Malik Willis as a prospect. I think it could work, but in the same token, the dude's had 4 starts. So whatever they do, they have to be certain that this is the right course of action, that they're not just, doing it just because they need a quarterback or they feel like they need to get a free agent quarterback or what have you. And Anthony Richardson, man, like, I'm sick of the reclamation projects. Like, Malik Willis really isn't like a reclamation project per se. He's more of like a dude with very possible upside. Anthony Richardson is the most just blatant, like, reclamation project that you can get. Like, the dude has been hurt more often than not. When he's not hurt, he's just meh.
I think Mike cut out. Mike, you there? I think Mike cut out. He'll be back in a
Because what?
Oh, you cut out there for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, I was just saying the thing about Malik Willis is, I'm sorry, I keep saying Malik Willis when I mean Anthony Richardson. The thing about Anthony Richardson is he hasn't been able to show that he hasn't lived up to his draft stock. He hasn't. Like, yeah, he had freakish alien traits that he never lived up to. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Like, he has never lived up to his draft stock once. He has been disappointing. He's been outright bad. He has been injury prone. I don't want Anthony Richardson at all. The only reason they would bring him in, maybe bring him in as like a training camp body, and if it works out, great, but like for a 7th round pick. But like, I'm not trading something crazy for Anthony Richardson. I certainly hope the Browns aren't thinking of even doing that a little bit. That's just me.
No, I've never been an Anthony Richardson fan. I didn't like when he came out. Nothing like personal against him. I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I think he's an athlete that played quarterback in college, and that's what he is. He's an athlete playing quarterback. He probably should have played another position, honestly, in the pros if he wanted to be somewhat effective. But he's a complete project. I don't even know what team would even ask for him because he's injured and he's a complete project. I mean, no other way around it. I mean, it's not like he's in a bad situation either. Shane Steichen's a pretty good coach, and they have a good system. They have a good system and coaching staff over there, and with Indy,
they really do.
Indoors too. He's in a dome, so it's not like he's playing outside in cold weather and snow and shit every week with a bad team. He's in a good situation, but he's just not that guy. So he's not an NFL quarterback. I don't know why they would even look at him. I mean, other than maybe that's just a reclamation project. They think maybe they could take a swing on, but I'm not giving anything up for him, so I'm not giving up draft capital for him. I don't know why they even would bring him in here. I think that's just not a good fit. Doesn't make any sense. Now, Malik Willis here, we've been talking about Malik Willis for a month now because there's been a lot of smoke with him and the Browns. I think if you want to get Malik Willis, here, I get the fascination of Malik Willis. Malik Willis's tape was really good this year. Now, again,
I agree.
Now, teams are going to be scouting against him more now. He's, that's going to be an adjustment. Like, you got to be really sure if you're going to pay this guy because, like this report says here from Jordan Schultz, Malik Willis is getting $30 million. Malik Willis getting $30 million per year is a quote foregone conclusion. So he's at least getting 30. He may get up to 40. So I don't know if they want to pay that much and guarantees and stuff like that. So you
I
got to be
wouldn't.
really sure. Now, the buzz around the league on this kid is really high. Like, a lot of people think this guy's going to be a stud. They think he needed he needed to kind of like rebuild his game a little bit, and that's what he's done. He's developed. He's sat. He's been in a good organization and structure there with LaFleur in Green Bay. And then when he got out there, he balled out. And I think, the Sam Darnold thing and the Baker Mayfield, even to an extent, those guys going to, revitalizing their careers. That's kind of been the trend now with a lot of these quarterbacks. And it's been successful for a lot of them. Mac Jones has the same. He could be the next one as well. I think Malik got the raw deal when he was in Tennessee. That wasn't a good situation at all. We had Coach on the show, and remember Coach McGuire. Shout out to Coach McGuire. Coach Brown's former Browns running back coach Stump Mitchell. I asked him about it on the show. Here's what he had to say. This was about a month ago. You wouldn't bring another quarterback then, like through the draft or like a Malik Willis, let's say.
Yeah, shit. If you can get Malik Willis, now Malik, if you get Malik Willis, Malik is probably number one.
Really?
Yeah. If Rand Carthon had kept Malik Willis instead of Will Levis, Rand would still be in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have lost his job. Malik can play. I mean, he went to Green Bay and did a hell of a job.
Yeah, and when he got out there, that development showed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, no, you bring Malik Willis in there, Malik might be Deshaun and Shador out. I don't think it'd even be close. It might be with Deshaun, but not with Shador.
So that's what Coach said back then, Mike. And obviously he's an NFL coach. So I thought that was fast, but there's a lot of Malik Willis buzz, and it keeps getting hotter, Mike. And I could see it. And I said it that night on that show. Here, I agree that what I said that night, I doubled down that when you watched his tape in those games, just the development did show in terms of the way he was operating in the pocket. He was extending the plays. He looked very comfortable. He was making some awesome throws when he was out there, especially in that Ravens game. Now, when you're taking a swing on a guy, though, in some ways he's kind of like a rookie again when you're paying him, because he showed some flashes, but you're paying this guy that can be your franchise quarterback now, and you're banking on him to week that it's not, once teams start game planning to stop him, it's not going to slow down. That he'll still be effective and find a way to win. I think a lot of it's his skill set. I think that's what Todd Monken's intrigued with, Mike. It's his skill set, because Todd has been on the record saying he likes guys who are big arm and have big arms and are mobile, and that's what this guy is. And he showed that on tape. He was shedding a lot of tackles, extending plays, throwing for explosives, kind of a lot of stuff Andrew Berry even pointed out. And so I could see where the draw is with Monken. Now, you're going to get in a bidding war, though. It's like shout out to Wisely Judy, 6424. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. He said Malik got cut where he's been. He has only 6 games tape where he showed something, and now he's worth $50 million. Yeah, right. Yeah, $50 million's a lot for me.
Mike, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Like, if he's really going to get upwards of 30-40 million, I'm out. Like,
I could
like
see. I could see them paying
19 million, maybe.
I think they would push to 30. I think they would. I held Zac Jackson. Zac Jackson even said 40. I'm just repeating.
No.
He even said they could go to 40. I don't know.
I know, but like, I'm out.
That means they really think he's their guy. That's the only reason why. Now, that's their opinion to find out that. I don't know how they're doing that, but just by watching tape or back channeling, they got to really find out that they got to be sure he's their guy. So. I don't know. I'm with you. I'll be on. Last week I said, I don't know. I'd rather just roll it out next year of what we got and just see what happens. And then if not, we'll just go to the draft next year if nobody pans out. But, it's fascinating. It's interesting. It's news. Now, the plan B, I'm not in on Anthony Richardson. I'm not even going to discuss that. Next.
Yeah, I'm out.
Now, Ty Simpson, I mentioned him the other day. I like Ty Simpson a lot, But if you invest a pick on him, it might be a little higher than you'd like. So I don't know if they want to do that. And I don't know if I want to bring another rookie quarterback, Mike, with Shador and then Deshaun. I just don't know how that mixes. But Todd Monken said something, though, Mike, that I thought was very fascinating in that statement he made. And I'm going to go back to it now. Give me 1 second. It was right here. I'm going to play this clip again. When he was asked about the quarterback room and an open competition and everything, I think Tony Grossi asked the question. Let's take a listen to this question again, Mike, because I thought he kind of said something here. I felt like kind of goes along with this report. Let's just take a listen to what Todd had to say.
Open competition at that position. Is there open competition?
Sure. I think it's an open competition. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be an open competition. And I don't mean that saying it harshly, but I don't think there's enough on film over the last couple of years, one way or the other, to say, boy, we have a starter at quarterback yet, whether internally or externally.
That I found very fascinating, Mike. I think out of everything he said yesterday was that last part right there. When he said that we don't have film on anybody either internally or externally that's shown enough that they're the guy. The fact that he said externally and that there's not enough film points to a guy like Malik Willis, in my opinion, or even a Ty Simpson. But I think more so Malik Willis, because that's the name you really hear buzzed a lot. And I don't know, Mike. I feel like Todd Monken might have slipped up a little bit there.
I've basically been like, hey, I don't think we're going to get him. Like, there's not enough tape kind of thing.
I don't think, no, I think he's leaving the door open for him, is what he's doing.
Oh, okay.
No, he was asked about competition. It's an open competition at quarterback. You heard the question. Listen again to what he said there. I don't know if anybody else caught on to what he said at the end there.
Be an open competition. And I don't mean that saying it harshly, but I don't think there's enough on film over the last couple of years, one way or the other, to say, boy, we have a starter at quarterback yet, whether internally or externally.
We don't have enough tape over the last couple of years, not just this past year, over the last couple of years, that says we have a for sure, slam dunk starter at quarterback, internally or externally, Mike, is what he said. Why did he mention externally? And who would he be talking about? Right? Is he talking about a college quarterback, which is it Ty Simpson, or is it Malik Willis? I just found it interesting that he mentioned that he phrased that like that. And I feel like they're leaving the door open for this possibility.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be remiss if they didn't, I think they certainly need to at least consider it. But
I don't think I think they're beyond considering it. I think they're going for it.
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm not saying I agree
not
with
at
that.
$30 million.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I don't know about the money. I'm not sure if that's a guy I would pay. That's still technically unproven. I like what I see, but if I had to give my opinion of what I think they're going to do based on what I'm seeing, and we're at the point. I mean, we've been covering the Browns for 4 years now, Mike. We kind of know where there's smoke, there's fire. I think they're definitely pursuing this guy. They probably have already reached out to his agent. They're probably already in the talks. And I think Miami's going to be in on it. Sounds like the Falcons are going to be in on it. Now, I think Miami sounds like the most the other day, Mary Kay Cabot was on 93 The Fan, and she said it sounds like she heard that Willis to Miami was kind of seems like a foregone conclusion, but you never know because money talks, and we have a Browns brass here, Mike, with the GM and the owner. Last time they wanted somebody on the open market, they made sure it got done, Mike. So how far are they willing to go, and how much do they believe in this kid? That's what it's going to come down to.
Right. Yeah. That's fact.
You have an owner that paid $230 all guaranteed. I don't think $30 million, $200 million less. I don't think that's going to mean much to him.
Right.
So, it sounds crazy to us, but I'm just, again, you got to evaluate what their answers are and really read between the lines of what they're saying. They're leaving the door open. What he just said there, what I thought was just fascinating. Internally or externally, there's not a lot of tape. And I think it goes along with these reports. He's basically justified those reports that if you're looking at guys externally, it's either a rookie in college, or B, like a Ty Simpson who's only played 15 games in college, or it's Malik Willis, who's only played 6 starts, since his years in Tennessee. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely, Mike. It's looking like it's going to be a quarterback room of Shedeur, Deshaun, and then either Malik Willis or Ty Simpson.
Right. And yeah, I mean,
now if you're bringing in Malik Willis, there is no competition because you're paying this guy as your starter. Why would you pay a guy $30 million a year or more to come in for a competition?
Right. Yeah.
It's
going to be interesting, man. It's certainly going to be interesting. I don't know where I stand really. I'm like you said. I like what I see from Malik Willis. I don't like it enough to pay $30 million. It's not my money, but I just don't think it's in the Browns' best interest. And here, if they want to possibly go with a like a Ty Simpson kind of thing, they just best be sure. That's where I'm at. Like whatever decision they make, they just best be sure.
And what pick would you be comfortable taking a Ty Simpson at?
Early second round, maybe.
Like 34?
Yeah, 34, 39. I mean, we have 39. I mean, maybe we trade up, maybe we don't have to. But
so you're a late round second or late first, not at all.
No, I'm not there with him. Unless I don't know if he's throwing at the combine. He is. I mean, if he looks insane and people are talking about now all of a sudden as a first round pick, maybe late first, but he's got to impress. He can't go out there and lay a goose egg.
And speaking along with Ty Simpson, Mike, because a lot of people would say, well, they drafted 2 quarterbacks last year. Why would they draft another one this year? Well, Andrew Berry, Mike, yesterday, he was asked, I'm going to read the first part here because it wasn't, he was asked by a reporter, do you think it's okay drafting a quarterback every year, basically in the draft, like adding a quarterback in your room every year? He said, Andrew's quote was, I don't see a problem with that. He doesn't see a problem with adding quarterbacks to the draft maybe a couple years in a row or continually. And then he was followed up on that, Mike. Why did you say that? And here's what Andrew Berry said about his justification about why he thinks it's okay to take another quarterback, possibly this year's draft when you took 2 last year, that you can keep drafting them. It's okay. Here's what AB had to say.
It's the most important position. We wouldn't talk about it any differently if we were drafting an O lineman or a D lineman or something along those lines. I don't think that you can invest in it enough.
So he doesn't think they can invest in it enough. So these answers, Mike, they're giving, I think, they're leaving the door open. I think they're definitely drafting a quarterback, or they're signing Malik Willis and they're going all in. And I think if they try to sign Malik Willis, Mike, he's going to use the Dolphins, like I said the other day in my show. He's going to use the Dolphins as leverage. He's going to make the Browns pay because his agent's David Mulugeta, who was Deshaun's agent. Now, maybe does that get in the way? Possibly. But David Mulugeta might got this same organization to pay them, his one client, $230 fully guaranteed. So you don't think he's going to try to flex these guys again? Of course he is. He's going to use the Dolphins probably as leverage. He's going to see how much can I pull $40 million or even more out of these guys. That's what he's going to try to do.
I hope not.
I wouldn't go more than 30, but that might be too much. But I think that's the market. I think 30s you can justify because of the market, kind of. Although he's still improving, so maybe you can't. But I think there's smoke, there's fire, Mike, and I think there's been a lot of Malik Willis smoke, and I think they're definitely gonna be in the race. Now, the other day I gave them, Mike, a 25% chance to get him. I'm gonna give it a 35% chance. I went up 10 just because I know they're definitely going after him now. Now, how aggressive do they get? I still think they got a 35% chance. I think the Dolphins still have a higher chance at like 45 still. But, we'll see what happens. But, some more smoke, Mike. We'll wrap up with this. Came out the receiver room. Obviously, the Browns might need some receivers now on top of offensive linemen as well. Jared Mueller, Mike, put out a report, I believe, yesterday that the Browns have reached out to inquire about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Chris Olave. 2 former Buckeye stars, superstars rather, in college receivers. Obviously, Maserati Marv, he was a high draft pick, a guy that everybody feels like has Hall of Fame talent. Hasn't really been the greatest start to his career with Arizona. I don't think he has a great situation with the quarterback there, but and then he's also had some injuries. But still a lot of upside there. He's got 2 years left on his rookie deal, and everybody still believes he's still very much capable of being who we all know he's capable of being, especially as Buckeye fans. But then also Chris Olave, Mike, another star, put up, I think he was third team All Pro this year. Has some concussion concerns, kind of similar to Denzel, and he's had some injuries. But when he's on the field, Mike, he's electric. We all know Chris Olave, deep ball threat, can run every route. I mean, he's so smooth. I think him with a combination of Judy and maybe a draft pick like maybe Mekhi Lemon in the slot. I think those three would really complement each other really well. And you really revamped your receiver room with that scenario. Now, what do you have to give up for either? I think Marv's going to demand more because of the upside still, and he's a higher draft pick, I believe. I mean, well, correct. I think they're around the same draft pick. I mean, Olave is still a 12th overall pick, so it's still a high pick. But
Marv's still on his rookie contract, though. That's why he'll demand more.
Yeah, exactly. So your thoughts, Mike, on the rumors? I mean, I would definitely – I'm glad they're entertaining them, which they should. I think Olave, Mike, I thought that'd be more realistic, but I listened to some of the reports today. They think that Marvin Harrison might be more likely, but you may have to give up a higher compensation for him. So your thoughts?
I mean, I'd be cool with either. Obviously, depending on the compensation. Marv hasn't had, like you said, hasn't had the best start to his career. I think the talent's still there, but I mean, if they're asking like a first round pick on Marv, I'm out. Like it, maybe a second, maybe a third, and some other picks, but I'm out if it's a just straight first round pick for Marv. Olave, I think, is more realistic because you can't make you can figure out a way to make the money work, and he's already on his second contract. So they'd be more willing to take a lesser draft pick just to get the money out. So I think I'd prefer Olave just because of everything I've seen on the field. Yes, he's injury prone, but he's had great success in New Orleans, which has been a horrible team basically his entire tenure there. And the compensation will probably be less. You just got to figure out how the money works. But I'd be cool with either.
Here's my thought process, right? So let's say we're at the 6th pick. Let's say we trade down to like 10, and we acquire additional pick in the second round, and I still have my first round pick, my late first, which is what, 24.
Yeah.
Is there any receiver in the draft at 24 left that I think is as good as Marvin Harrison? No. So I think you could, because let's say you take an offensive lineman at 10. Let's say you take Francis Moyaga. Great pick, right? You got additional second out of that trade. You kind of did what you did last year. You still got your late round first. You could say, well, Mekhi Lemon's off the board, maybe, and the guys that are left, are any of them as good as Marvin Harrison still at this stage in his career, only 2 years in? Probably not. So if I give up 24 and maybe a late, some additional late rounds, some sweeteners for him, I think you do it because there's no other receiver that's better than him at that position, that draft, maybe at all, period. But and then I got additional seconds, and now I still got my picks. I can still load up another spot. So I think you could justify it, Mike, if you trade down. Even if you don't trade down, again, I don't know if there's any receiver that's gonna be left at 24. I don't know if there's any receiver in this draft. Forget that. That's even better than him. So I think you could justify it because I think you're looking at this guy just needs a new change of scenery. That's all it is. He needs a quarterback that's actually tall and can see over the line of scrimmage and is in a more stable situation. And you put him with Todd Monken. I think he would do really well here, especially if we get the quarterback thing situation once we get that situated rolling. But I think. And he's still on a rookie deal too, so it doesn't affect you in the cap as much. I think I think it's a slam dunk if you get him. If you can use that 24th pick and get him, I would do it. And then I would take offensive lineman of my first pick.
All right. I don't know if I'm quite there. NFL's a what have you done for me lately kind of league. And here I think Marv has all the talent, but he just hasn't shown it at the NFL level. And yeah, it's not a great situation there, but I don't think unless you produce in the NFL, in my opinion, you're not worth a first round pick. Like a second, sure. He's produced second round pick kind of production,
I think he's still worth the first because I think the first round production hasn't showed because he's been handicapped a little bit. And I think that's not a lot of it's been out of his control. And I think that's what a lot of people will see. And I think that's why people are still high on him because they think, well, look at the situation. It's not, the coach just got fired and then he had a undersized quarterback. It's not great. So, right. And, he's had some injuries. I think the injury thing maybe is what could diminish that. But I think it's still worth it personally. And again, at 24, is there any receiver left, even that with upside, I think is better than him? I don't. So I think it's still worth the swing. And then if I trade down from like 6 to 10 and get an additional second, I feel really good about it because now I know I got that back end second. I got another high end second possibly. Right. I'm pretty good. I'm in good shape. I bring a guy who I got some tape on in the league who knows what it's like, and we can start building it out now. But Chris Olave, Chris Olave, Mike, I would if I give up the only way I get Chris Olave, Mike, is if I trade back and get an additional second, and I'll use that additional second probably to go get him. Maybe it's a third. I don't know what the market's going to be for him, but I think he's going to have a market, and I think he's, there's people like him still, obviously. So I don't know. Maybe a third you can get away with it. I think it'd probably be like a mid-2 maybe and some other stuff.
It's people are interested. It's just the money. The money is hard. Yeah, he's making a lot of money.
And that's where I like Marv more because the money with Olave, I don't know how that fits into our cap situation. Especially, let's say, what if they go out and get Malik Willis? Well, I think Chris Olave is off your board. Now, you can still go get Marv because he's on a rookie deal, So, and especially you want to get your new quarterback a weapon. So, I think that makes a lot of I think Marv is probably more realistic. That's why I only had his picture up here because I just think Olave, I don't know if he's going to get traded because of the money situation. But Marvin Harrison, though, Mike, I'm going to give a percentage on this. I think there's a 55% chance they go out and get Marvin Harrison. They're at least, I think they're going to go out and try. I think AB is going to get real aggressive. I think he's going to get aggressive and try to get him because I think AB, we know him, if it's a friendly, fair deal with value, that's up his alley. If the money's right, which he's on the rookie deal, I think he would, I think he's drooling to get this guy in here.
Wow. I'd probably give it.
It seems like it's up their alley. That's what how they are with their money.
It is totally up their alley. I just don't know if they go through with it. I'm probably like at 15%. That's where I'm at. I mean, I think they'll trade for a receiver.
I'm saying 55% that they're going all in to get him. I'm not saying they're gonna get him. Oh. Maybe I rephrase it. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. I think. Well, I mean, they're probably the leaders in the clubhouse though to get him.
I mean,
they got the arsenal to do it. So yeah, I'd say 55%. He's getting traded. I think he needs to get out of there, and I think they need to move on. They got a new coach. It's time it's tonight. You need a reset. But I think the Browns are in prime position to get him because they got the assets and it just makes sense. The money fits. And again, that 24 pick, I don't know who you're going to get at 24 because you're probably taking an alignment first, I think. So, what receiver 24 in the draft's better than him? I don't think any. Even now, 2 years in, I don't think there's anybody that still doesn't have the upside he has and still isn't him. So I get it. And the money fits. So, that's my thoughts on that. Any other receivers, Mike, out there in the sleeper market? I mean, I know Alec Pierce, who I know about.
The Browns have shown interest. Reports are out. The Browns are showing interest in Wan'Dale Robinson, free agent wide receiver, who I think is
very underrated.
Very underrated receiver. I think he would be a great addition. He's always productive, great deep threat, good route runner. You can probably get him for not like crazy money and get a productive player. I think if they get a wide receiver in the free agency market, Wan'Dale Robinson is probably going to be the guy. They're already showing interest, and I like that pickup a lot, actually.
I love if I got Jerry Jeudy, right, and I can go get Marvin Harrison, I bring in Wan'Dale Robinson, I probably draft another receiver in the second round, maybe Elijah Surratt. I got a good room cooking there, Mike. And I still got Isaiah Bond. I like that room.
Yeah,
I got speed. I got actually a slot receiver for once in Wan'Dale, and I got Maserati Marv. It takes pressure off of Jeudy. I got a better system, I think, and coach with Monken. I like that room a lot. And I love, if I can get Elijah Surratt in the second round, Mike, I love that. I think Elijah Surratt has first-round talent personally. I think he's that good. The kid's a baller. He produced all year at the highest level, and he was consistent week to week. And he has a lot of flexibility in his game, versatility. I like Elijah Surratt a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty good room, Mike. I mean, they can build this room up fast, Mike. They just gotta, if they just long to play their cards right with the money and get a free agent, make a trade like that, and then get a draft pick in the second that's a good player, and you can rebuild that room pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, I think you could.
So, going to the draft, Mike. I think trading down though, Mike, from 6 is probably gonna be their MO, unless they like Caleb Downs that much, which maybe they do. But I think, Mike, if they could trade down from 6 to 10 maybe and get that additional second, I think that might be the move they should make.
Yeah.
Because we're 2 months out from the draft, so we're getting closer.
It's crazy.
But your thoughts on that draft strategy, trading down? That's been the other report that a lot of people feel like they are trading down.
Yeah, I'm all for them trading down and getting an additional second and more if they can. I think doing that, I mean, here we still have a lot of holes on offense. You got to rebuild that whole O-line. I think they should get a tackle and a guard this year. I'm still team, the reason why I don't want them signing Malik Willis either is I want them to pay Linderbaum, who looks like he's going to be a free agent. So
I can justify.
I'd much rather pay him.
I could overpay him for sure because he's produced. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
his offensive line coach is now here.
Yeah, that's who I'd be paying. I wouldn't be paying a Malik Willis. I'd be paying a Linderbaum, and then I'd
agree with that, by the way, too.
Yeah, I'm all for them trading down since we're in a weird spot at 6. Like, if there's a receiver you want or a O-lineman you want, the chances they'll be there 4 spots down or 5 spots down is relatively high. And if not, then you can always take your second guy on the board or what have you. But I'm all for that. Get as many picks as you can in the top 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, is there a world where they get Malik and Tyler Linderbaum? Possibly.
No.
His name was. I think there's a way, but I think his name was brought up by Andrew Berry yesterday too. I thought it was interesting. Or the other day, I keep saying yes. Yesterday was Monken. The other day, Berry brought up his name. But he's going to demand a lot of money. But I think they'll try. But I mean, I get quarterbacks most important positions. So if you're going to allocate money, if you think that's your guy, that's where you should go. I don't know. I'm with you, Mike. I don't know if I want to pay that much for him yet. Maybe I need to go watch more tape on him and stuff, and just like interviews myself, and just like, is this guy really actually worth almost $40 million? I don't know about that. Linderbaum, yeah, he's a slam dunk. No doubt about it. He's proven, and he is who he is. He's one of the best offensive linemen in all of the NFL. Probably the best center in the league, or one of them. And I used to play center, so I gotta, us centers got to stick together. But anyways, I don't know, Mike. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be real interesting. We're getting closer, Mike. I mean, we are free agency. The tampering period starts Monday, March 9th, which is not this week, but next week. And then the following Wednesday, the 11th, free agency opens at 11. So I think by a week from now, Mike, going into that weekend, that's when we're going to know how serious the Browns, I think, really are Malik Willis. And I think they are serious, but how are they willing to go that far into paying that kind of money? Because, again, His agent's Deshaun. It's the same one Deshaun Watson had and has, and they've already fleeced the Brown once. Don't think they're going to try to get more money out of him again. So that's all I got to say about that. Detroit Gemini, good to see you. Don't believe it. They said Jim Schwartz was gaining momentum. It's just a storyline. No way Willis would even want to come to the Browns anyway. Now, that last part might be true, Detroit Gemini. I mean, I could totally see that. Wow, he could look at the room and be like, well, they got Deshaun, they got who's the same agent as mine, and they got Shedeur Sanders. If I go there, they better guarantee me a spot, that I'm the starter. Guarantee me a starting spot. It's gonna be so. You might be right on that. And plus, Miami, who I think is still the odds favorite to get him, they're the GM and the coach were just in Green Bay with him, so there's relationships there. I'm sure they have a plan for him because they're very familiar with him, and they may overpay for him a little bit. I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, money talks. I mean, everybody thought Deshaun Watson was going to Miami in 2021, and then they got ruled out once they fired the coach. But then Brian Flores. But then everybody thought he was going to Atlanta or New Orleans. The Browns were always out. They were always the wild card. And at the end, the money talked that he signed with the Browns. So, you never know. That's for sure. I mean, you never know. I know some people have said they think the Willis headline and some of the people in the Browns media around here think it's just all smoke and all that. But I don't think it's just smoke. I'm not saying they're like, it may not be as serious. Maybe it may not be as serious as Zac Jackson saying on the screen there with that quote. But I do think you just got to listen to what they're talking. I mean, Mike, we just heard quotes from the coach. I mean, he said internally and externally, he said that. So that tells you they have a plan, that they are looking out at guys like him. And he probably is number one on their board, if I had to guess. And so I don't think it's just smoke. I don't think it's just headlines. I don't think it's just draw. I think they're doing their due diligence. I think they're going to see. We're going to test the waters for this guy. We'll see how far it goes. I think he might, and maybe he might be their biggest plan, but they're definitely not sold on either of the two in the building already. That's for sure. I mean, just listen to their answers. They're not sold on those two. They like them. They really like Shedeur's upside. Deshaun's, we got to see what Deshaun even looks like when he comes back, but they're not. Again, Todd Monken's not tied to either of these guys. So for all these, I hear some people out there saying that it's smoke or it's Shedeur's job. I'm like, I don't know how you can say that when this guy wasn't here. He's not tied to him, bro. Like Todd Monken's going to want to come in and do it his way. And that might be, they may just go with Shedeur. That may be what he decides to go with, but he hasn't decided yet. Clearly, he's still figuring it out, and I think he has an idea of what he likes, and I think he wants to get off to a good start. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts. I'm gonna ramble a little bit, Mike, but.
No, all good, brother.
You got any final thoughts on all this?
I have one final thought, and that's why these folks should like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, you want to tell me you like, subscribe, and share, Mike?
Because we appreciate everybody tuning in. We appreciate everybody chatting in, all the old subscribers, all the new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being part of the ride. Tune in here soon. We're going to be doing a lot of draft coverage. Combines live. Going to do a combine episode here shortly of some names to watch for the Browns and just in general. So best part about the offseason, combine, draft, free agency, it's all here in this next 2-month period. So tune in, stay updated, and we appreciate
Mike, it. I don't mean to cut you off, but the report card just came out for the teams.
Yeah, we were
I'll read it out real quick. Treatment of families this is the Cleveland Browns report card for the players. Treatment of families, D-. Home game field, B+. Food and dining area, D+. Now again, home game field was B+. Food and dining was D+. Nutritionist / dietitian, C+. Locker room, F. Training room, C. Training staff, C+. I think that's somewhat of an improvement from the year before. Weight room, B+. Strength coaches, B+. That's an improvement. Position coaches, B-. Offensive coordinator, D+. DC, A-. Special teams coordinator, D. Mike would have gave an F. Team travel, D-. Head coach, C-. General manager, C. Team ownership, C.
That's not horrible.
Well, in the key positions, it's not good. But you're hoping that changes now with the new sheriff in town.
Yeah, and that's all.
Which, in some ways, this is kind of irrelevant now because a lot of these people were gone to have the bad grades, so it's kind of irrelevant. It's a whole new staff now, which thank gosh they did that. But anyways, yeah, please like, subscribe, and share, folks. And Mike, they got TPF coming soon too. You want to fill them in on what that's going to be like?
Yeah, this weekend we're going to be going over the combine, going over some of the players to watch out for, some sleeper players that might be, names that you might have heard of but not like sure of, what have you. But we're going to be deep diving, guys, making sure that you know who your team should pick.
Well, you heard the man. Get ready. You better like, subscribe, and share so you can hear that. And we'll be back up here this weekend as well on my show, react to the latest reports. So maybe get more of the panels up here too. And I'm sure that'll be rowdy. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Like, subscribe, share all the good stuff. And I'm saluting up out of here. Mike, what are you doing?
I'm saluting with a French bread pizza.
Thank you.